Yeah, so when you say we, you're talking about all life, right?
All life.
Not just humans, all living processes. And as a scientist, I guess I'm intrigued as to whether in this worldview there's a way to get insight into the relationship between between mind and its extrinsic appearance, right? Like I would, in science, you'd think about the kind of the lawful unfolding of the physical and then how that maps onto the experiential states. If the experiential states are primary, yeah, I guess I'm wondering why does dissociative mind look like metabolism?
Why do stars shine? Why does the moon go around the earth? Again, I'm a materialist. Sorry, I am a naturalist. I'm a naturalist. The fact that I'm not a materialist does not preclude me from being a reductionist and a naturalist. Nature is what it is. It does what it does because its behavior is the unavoidable consequence of what it is in and of itself. And nature seems to be such that when universal consciousness dissociates, it looks like life. Look, it had to look like something, right? It had to have an appearance. It had to look like something. And it so happens that, that what it looks like is what we've labeled life. So it's not a big thing that I'm proposing. I'm just interpreting the names we've given. What we call life is that, in my view. That's all there is to it.
Now, okay, I guess that's sorry.
You asked more. Sorry, I failed to answer your question properly. You're talking again about the correlations of inner mental states and their appearance as matter, as metabolism. Well, I would say they correlate because one is the image of the other. The image of a phenomenon has to correlate with it because it's the image of it. It's what it looks like. So of course it correlates with it. Some people would criticize that by saying, well, but I have no accessible experiential state that correlates with my right big toe. We know that my consciousness correlates with certain patterns of brain activity, not even all of them. So how do you account for the liver, the stomach, and my right big toe? The problem here is that the claim is that all there is phenomenal consciousness. The claim is not that all there is meta-consciousness. And there is a very, very important distinction between the two. Phenomenal consciousness means an experiential state. If there is something it is like to be in that state, it doesn't matter what. If there is anything it is like to be in that state, then that is a phenomenally conscious state, an experiential state. Meta-consciousness requires more than that. To be meta-conscious, you need to have an experience and know that you have the experience. So there are two experiential states here. One is an access conscious, phenomenal and access conscious state, and the other one is raw consciousness. So when you feel pain, first you feel the pain, and then you experience the knowledge that you feel the pain. That's metacognition, conscious metacognition, or metaconsciousness for short. All you can report is what you're metaconscious of. If you are not metaconscious of an experience that you are having, you cannot report even to yourself that you are having that experience. And this may sound like, wow, some bizarre thing, very implausible. It's extraordinarily plausible if you just stop and pay attention. For instance, you have been conscious of your breathing since we started talking, but you have not been meta-conscious of your breathing since we started talking. Now you are, because now I brought your attention to it. So you introspect, you re-represent that in your mind. So now you experience the air flowing through your nostrils, the inflation of your rib cage. Not only that, now you experience the knowledge that you are experiencing that. And then you form memory pathways and all that. A lot of people conflate consciousness with meta-conscious and it's consciousness. And it's important to distinguish them. It happens very often to men, not to women, that they experience pain, but they are not metacognitive of that experience. They are in pain, but they don't know. If you ask them, are you in pain? They say, no, it's okay. But if you help them breathe, relax, let's do a relaxation exercise, just focus in your body, you know, feel your toes, move a little bit around, feel your butt on the chair. No, calm down. Do you feel pain? Oh shit. Oh yeah, it's hurting a lot. So because we've become so abstract in our thinking, we live in our heads, we don't live in our bodies anymore. We've lost touch with the experiential states whose image is the rest of the body. And even the science of consciousness can't study that for as long as it depends on report. For many years, the neuroscience of consciousness adopted the so-called report paradigm. If the person reported a state, a mental state, then it was conscious. Otherwise, it was unconscious. Well, guess what? Since 5 or 6 years, we have the no report paradigms in neuroscience, because neuroscientists woke up to the fact that the neurocorrelates of consciousness that they had before were not at all the neurocorrelates of consciousness. They were the neurocorrelates of consciousness, the states that could be reported, that could be introspectively accessed and mentally re-represented. So now they are a little bit sharper, and people realize, you know, even things like blind sight, such a mystery thing, people act as though they could see. You know, if you throw something at them, they get out of the way. But if you ask them, can you see this? You know, oh, I'm completely blind. Yeah, guess what? They can't report the experience of seeing. And that has to do with some connections here at the back of the brain between the visual cortex and the more primitive areas underneath. Anyway, details. If you understand that distinction, then you understand idealism.